mechanic services, you don't want to also do someone's taxes, you know? So it's very important, because then you're not confusing the market. You're letting them know exactly what you do, and the clients know what to expect. And furthermore, you are monetizing based on your skill set. And I'm sure you'll agree that you can't be the best mechanic and the best tax preparer. There are different skill sets, so specializing.
I want to point out, Mr. Babayans just used the phrase, monetize your skill set. Can you break that down? What does the word monetize mean?
Yes.
What does that even mean, monetize your skill set? I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, so monetizing would be using your competitive advantage in order to make money while doing so on a certain scale. So let's say one of you does sewing, and you do that for fun, and you sew great shirts and sweaters for your cousins. And everyone says, oh, you should open up your own business. And one day you decide to take your hobby and turn it into a business. Now you're monetizing your personal hobby. You're earning money while you're doing the same activity. And then you can start scaling.
Thank you. Now, so far, everything you've talked about, it sounds really nice, but it almost sounds like you're doing the HOAs a favor. I take care of your roof, and I take care of your paint, and I take care of your plumbing. How do you make money doing this? Give us some numbers. Give us some hypothetical scenarios for how you make money.
Yeah.
Because so far, I don't see any money. What money?
Yeah.
It sounds really nice. You're a great guy.
I'm not that great. We actually charge for our services. So we have a contract with all these buildings, and it's a recurring contract. What that means is every single month, every single building pays us a management fee.
Can you give us an example of what that number is?
Yeah.
So the kids want to know.
Absolutely, yeah. So let's say we manage a 8-unit condo complex. And within this 8-unit condo complex, as I mentioned, we pay their bills, we collect their payments, and we take care of all their maintenance issues. For that, the price is approximately $500 a month. Is that too much or too little?
That's too little.
That's good.
That's good?
Because if you break that down 8 ways, I mean, that's not a whole lot.
So that will be, yeah, I mean, see, the thing is, because we have systems in place, and because we have technology, so we're able to do that in a very streamlined fashion. If I were, yes, Brooke?
So like you're basically an apartment manager and everyone reports to you and everything that you do and they pay you rent, or are they paying you and they're paying the apartment manager?
Yeah, so in our case, because it happens to be a condo complex, each unit has a different owner. So all of them pay a HOA, it's called HOA dues, it's a payment. Now, that payment goes in a pool, which is their money. We just control that pool for them. Out of that pool, we pay their gardener, we pay their pool person, we pay us as our manager. Does that answer your question? Or no?
So let me
What's
help
your
you.
question?
You're thinking of an apartment where people pay rent.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when, let's say, Brooke, let's say you live in an apartment and you pay rent. Well, you pay rent to the owner of the apartment, right?
Right.
Well, now switch that around. Imagine you're the owner. You don't pay yourself, right?
Right.
So you don't pay rent. So the condo, excuse me, the condo owners, they don't pay rent.
So this is kind of confusing,
You
actually.
pay a mortgage.
So this is kind of confusing. So let me draw a very fancy diagram that's gonna answer all questions. So how many are there? There's 8, right? So literally, if you and I were to just drive around and look at buildings, none of us will know if that building is an apartment building or a condo complex. Because physically, they could look very similar. The only way we can know is if I log onto my real estate broker portal and look at the legal title to see what it is. Now, if we were to look at 2 buildings that look identical, it could very well be that this is an apartment building and these are condos. The difference is, in an apartment building, this entire box is owned by one person. Let's say it's owned by Brooke. So Brooke owns this entire thing. You are not able to sell unit 101. This is 101, 102, 103. You are not able to sell it even if you want to. because this whole thing is a package, it's a legal entity, it's one parcel of land. Now, in this example, same structure, same amount of units, but the difference is what?
By each person's owner.
So unit 101 is owned by Jasmine, 102 by Brooke. Do you guys follow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, in this case, everyone pays rent to Brooke. Let's say, well, rents have gone up these days, so let's say, I don't know, $1,800. So you have so she's taking us to lunch today. So you have 8 times $1,800 that goes to Brooke. That's rent. And then Brooke just takes that money and like any expenses you cover here. Now here, unit 101 is owned by Jasmine. So you're not paying rent to anyone because you own that unit. What you are paying, however, are what's called HOA dues. Now, your HOA dues, does anyone know just roughly how much it will be? I'm curious.
Somebody take a guess. Just throw out a number.
Does anyone? Huh? Good guess. So,
7,000.
no. Well, it could be. It could be if you're in a high rise, you have a concierge service, etc., valet service. It could be. But typically around here, there are, let's say, $350. So now, again, be mindful that here you own this unit. So you pay mortgage, by the way. Does anyone know what mortgage is?
It's like paying for a house, right?
Exactly. Exactly. So when you own property, then now, if let's say we're rich and we pay $500,000 cash and we buy it, then we don't owe a loan on it. But a lot of people will what's called finance it, meaning get a loan. Just like when you get a car, you get a loan. So a loan for a house is called what?
A mortgage.
Exactly. Wow, great. So a mortgage is what's a loan for a car?
Just a loan.
Just a loan, yeah. Just a loan, yeah. So now, of course, if you have a $300,000 loan, you're paying roughly the same amount, $1,800, for your loan. But above and beyond that, you're paying $350 for your HOA dues. Now, one day, when 30 years later you pay off this loan and you don't owe a mortgage anymore on the condo, do you still pay the $350 HOA dues?
Yeah.
Who says yes? You're right. So this forever you're paying. Why? Because that $350 is used to maintain. Exactly. Would that now? Should I go into more detail?
You have about 5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm very happy that you're really grasping the idea of the difference between the buildings. That's great. It takes us a hard time to explain to people who are newly working for us, but that's fantastic. So then what we do is we collect all this money and we go to Vegas. I mean, we collect all the $350 from each unit. Now, this $350 that this building pays, okay, out of the pool, everyone, out of the pool. So the $350 every building pays goes into one pot, and then we take that money and we maintain their common grounds. So what's one common area example? Now this is a very technical question, but good one. Brooke, you said that?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, exactly. So when there's a swimming pool, now I'm getting into too detail, but
It's okay.
but who owns this swimming pool? Wow, do y'all want to just come work for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what it is. Now, if there's a now we're having fun. So if there's a swimming pool here, who owns it in this example?
Brooke.
Brooke, yeah. Wow, these are some sharp people we have here. Good job, Mr. K. And to your parents, and to you. No, that's fantastic. I thought I'm gonna lose everyone and you're gonna be on your phones, but that's great. Fantastic. So yeah, I mean, that's exactly how it works. These are condos, these are condos.
In our limited time left, so you've been doing this for 20 years. Give us one memorable story of, oh man, that was a big headache. I'll never forget the time when, give us one memorable story.
I don't know, Rima, do you want to share?
Very recent, actually.
You have a question? Yes.
Have you ever had doubts on like starting it?
Doubts on what?
On starting it?
Yeah, that's a very, very good point, and I'll come back to your question too. That's
That's more
very
important.
that's very, very good. I'm glad you brought that up. I had slight doubts, so I overcame that, and you know, I'm a fighter. I go forward, I move forward, I learn, I improve, I grow. But once in a while, I have doubts. Once in a while, you just let that thought come, you acknowledge it, and then you just let it go, and then you talk about it. So, you know, your mind is a powerful object. It's going to play tricks on you. In the past 20 years, I've had hard moments. I've worked through it. I have worked through the doubts. Even yesterday I had a doubt. It happens. Sometimes everything just comes down at you, and you just sit down at your desk, you're alone, and you have all these things. You have debt, you have staff, you have people, you have obligations, liability, but it's okay. It's just part of it. You just tell yourself what Brooke wrote down. Everything is always working out for me, literally. You know, it's just you tell yourself to work through it, and then you'll find the answers. Because once you snap out of it, then the doubt goes away, and you just keep moving forward. Challenging things, moments that have happened, right? Well, in a nutshell, very recently, in fact, we grew. I mean, everyone wants to grow, but even that's something you want to control. If you grow too quickly, which is what happened to us, just less than a year ago, we grew so quickly that almost our operation collapsed. Because imagine if you're a little ice cream shop and you're doing a lot of marketing, and now you have 40 people walking in, then you can't serve all of them. So your level of service goes down, your staff members get stressed, and that's what happened to us. And half our people actually quit, our customer satisfaction went down, and I was like, I had doubts. So, but we worked through it. Actually, Rima came in, and we were working nights. We were working 11, 12, 13, 14, 15-hour days, 7 days a week. So yeah, it's a mindset. Success is a mindset. It's what you're willing to do. It's what you're willing to compromise. You're willing to put your social media aside for an hour and concentrate. You're willing to skip a movie date.
Last question. Thank you. Last question.
So like, how much money did you actually make out of spending 20 hours a day?
Well, at that point, not that much, because we also had to hire external help.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes your money fluctuates. I was spending a lot of time paying a lot of money to external help. So we got more clients, but our profit margin actually went down. And then we expanded, we got more office space, we got more personnel. So there's more money coming in, but there's less for me because what?
Less money being kept because you have to spend the money that you're making to help the other customers.
Exactly. So that happens once in a while, but it's okay. It's all part of your long-term vision, your long-term goal. Any other questions? Thank you so much. Thank you.